What if I told you that everything we've been doing with grammar instruction is backwards? The conversation I released on Monday with Patty McGee really helped me flip my own thinking. If you haven't listened to that conversation, pause this bonus, go back. It's season 5, episode 8. It's called Grammar Instruction Your Students Will Actually Like, and then come back for this bonus content. She said something that stopped me cold. Grammar gives us power, not rules, not correctness, but power. So think about that for a second. Again, we don't teach multiplication once on Monday and expect kids to have mastered it by Tuesday. We give them manipulatives. We let them explore patterns. We celebrate when they discover that 3 times 4 is the same as 4 times 3. But with grammar, we've been operating on this bizarre assumption that one lesson equals instant mastery. Patty's approach is like finding the perfect volume setting as far as I'm concerned. Not too quiet, not too loud, but just right. She's talking about only 10 minutes a day. That's it. Today I'm sharing 3 revelations from my conversation with Patty that are going to, I hope, change how you think about grammar forever. Plus, I hope I'm leaving you with ideas you can try right away on Monday morning. No worksheets, no red pens, just real language power. This is Solutions Teaching Strategies, the podcast that extends education beyond the classroom. A show that isn't just theory, but practical, try it tomorrow approaches for educators and caregivers to ensure every student finds their spark and receives the support they need to thrive. Welcome back to our Friday bonus episode of Solutions Teaching Strategies. This episode is an accompaniment to my conversation with Patty McGee, Season 5, Episode 8, Grammar Instruction Your Students Will Actually Like. If you haven't listened to that episode yet, it's right below this one. Listen to that and then come back to this bonus content. I'm Olivia Wall, and I've been sitting with something Patty McGee said that completely shifted my thinking about grammar instruction. She said, grammar gives us power, not rules, not correctness, power. Power to make people laugh, power to persuade, power to teach, power to affect our own lives and the lives of people around us. This week's conversation with Patty has me rethinking so much, not just about grammar, but about how we approach any subject that's traditionally been taught through worksheets and sometimes shame. So today, I want to share 3 revelations that hit me after our conversation, and I'm going to give you something you can literally try on Monday morning. Here is something Patty said that made me pause as soon as she said it. Seemed so obvious, and yet it was still revolutionary. We don't just teach a math concept once and expect perfection. So why do we do that with grammar? Think about that. We teach multiplication, we give kids manipulatives, we let them explore patterns. We celebrate when they discover that 3 times 4 is the same as 4 times 3. We give them time, multiple exposures, different contexts. But grammar, we've been operating on this bizarre assumption that we teach a comma rule on Monday, and by Tuesday, they should have it mastered forever. What if we treated grammar like we treat math? What if we gave kids grammar manipulatives, which, just saying, Patty and Tim actually provide in their book? And then let's let our kids be pattern detectives. Here's what this could look like. Instead of, this is a compound sentence, memorize it, we give partnerships actual word cards. They physically move words around, they combine 2 simple sentences into a compound sentence. They can see it, they can touch it, they can manipulate it. The second thing that's been rattling around in my brain all week is this idea of conversationally compatible grammar partners. Patty specifically said to pair kids who can actually talk to each other, who feel safe making mistakes together, who can co-build knowledge. This is not about pairing students as thriving writers with striving writers. It's about helping kids talk and think about language. They may not be technically correct every time, but are they thinking about language? Are they theorizing? Are they engaging in actual intellectual work instead of just waiting for someone to give them the answer? This week, I challenge you to rethink your partnerships. Who are the kids who laugh at the same jokes, who choose each other at recess, who can disagree without shutting down? Those might be your best grammar study partnerships. Patty even suggests these partnerships stay together for at least one full unit, long enough to build trust, long enough to develop their own language for talking about language. Now, when I was in conversation with Patty, I did address what I called the elephant in every classroom: time. When Patty said grammar study only needs 10 minutes a day, I was skeptical. But then she said something that reframed everything. Don't expect mastery after those 10 minutes. Again, we've been trying to force feed grammar in 45-minute chunks, expecting immediate results. But what if instead we thought of it like maybe brushing our teeth? You don't brush your teeth for 3 hours once a week. You do it for 2 minutes, twice a day, every day. Grammar study can be the same: 10 minutes every day, or even just 3 to 4 times a week. Small deposits in the grammar bank account that compound over time. Here's what 10 minutes could look like according to Patty. Minutes 1 and 2, partners get their grammar manipulatives or notebooks out. Minutes 3 through 8, they could explore the day's focus, maybe combining sentences, maybe hunting for patterns in a mentor text. Minutes 9 through 10, quick share out. One partnership shares a discovery or a question. That's it. No slides, no worksheets, no red pens. And something that really stayed with me from this conversation, Patty spoke to the shame that we feel from our own schooling, from not remembering grammar rules ourselves. How many of us are walking around with that same shame? How many of our students are developing it right now? But here's the hope. Patty and Tim's approach isn't about eliminating rules or lowering standards. It's about replacing shame with curiosity, replacing memorization with discovery, replacing isolation with partnership. She said something beautiful about grammar being like art. That's where we're teaching kids to craft their writing like artists. When's the last time you heard grammar compared to art instead of rules? I want to leave you with this. I pulled out my old grammar notebook from college this week, the one I mentioned to Patty. And you know what? The rules I remember are not the ones I memorized. They're the ones I discovered, the ones that I played with in my notebook, the ones I understood the why behind. 20 some years later, I still remember the day I finally understood why we use semicolons. Not because someone told me the rule, but because I discovered how they create a pause that's stronger than a comma, but softer than a period. That's the gift we can give our students. Not grammar as gatekeeper, but grammar as power. Let your students see you not knowing a grammar answer, but model that beautiful phrase from Patty: I don't know, let's figure it out together. Remember, we're not raising kids who memorize grammar rules. We're raising kids who understand the power of language to change their world. I'll see you on Monday for another incredible conversation with Angela Stockman. She speaks to pedagogical documentation and how we can go as narrow and in depth as choosing one focus area for an entire year of study as a school and really see our growth over time. Until then, go make grammar study an adventure. Sometimes the smallest shifts we create have the biggest transformations. Take care. Schoolutions Teaching Strategies is created, produced, and edited by me, Olivia Wall. Thank you to my older son, Benjamin, who created the music playing in the background. You can follow and listen to Schoolutions wherever you get your podcasts, or subscribe to never miss an episode and watch on YouTube. Here's my invitation. Send me an email at solutionspodcast@gmail.com and tell me one thing from this episode that's shifting your thinking. Tell me what your next step is. Maybe pick one grammar pattern your students are struggling with, grab some index cards to create word manipulatives, set a timer for 10 minutes. Let the partnerships explore. No worksheets, no right answers, just discovery. Remember, we're not raising kids who memorize grammar rules, hopefully. We're raising kids who understand the power of language to change their world. And make sure to tune in every Monday for the best research-backed coaching and teaching strategies you can apply right away to better the lives of the children in your care. Stay tuned for my bonus episodes every Friday, where I'll reflect and share connections to what I learned from the guests that week. See you then.